April 14th, 1942. Dearest Gavin, I miss you so much. I miss you more than you can imagine. Life just seems so much strange without you around here. It's more than I can bear. Things seem different around here. Life seems different than I thought it would be. All I see is darkness. It's just so much darker than it was before the war. I barely remember the life we had, filled with happiness and joy, purity, all filled with love. Do you remember the way your life was before the war? I sure as hell don't. I'm praying every day that you return home to me alive. And when you do, we'll build the life for ourselves like we've always wanted. Do you ever wonder if when all this is over, we'll ever look at each other the same? Despite the hardships we would have to face? Will things ever be the same after the war? Something I think about constantly. It's always on my mind, but I know now nothing will ever be the same. Back in Hawaii, no longer in New Hampshire, I'm actually back in Hawaii, working in the medical field, learning the basics of the medical field. There are girls all over the country here, just to learn the basics of the medical field, working as a nurse and maybe do other things as well. We actually work a lot in the war field. And my worst fear would be seeing you as one of my patients. Cold to the touch. We're learning about the war field, like I said. So we don't get attacked again. I remember that day. You cannot imagine. Just the wounds on soldiers, open wounds. And more people were dying by the second. And the capacity of the beds all increasing. And more people were dying, more and more. We had to have hope. But I had hope. But I was losing it more and more by the second. I could tell none of them wanted to die. I lost friends that day. Nurses and soldiers that I considered to be good friends. They had so much they wanted to do after the war. And now we're in it and they won't be able to do that. Do you think we'll look at each other the same? Would we still have committed to each other if we knew of the hardships we would have to face? That's something I wonder every single minute, every hour I'm not with you. Dearest, what do we fight for if it's not for our country? Is it the family that we don't have yet? All this is just so hard for me to bear. Hard for me to sink in. And I just need you to be strong for me because you are the only thing that keeps me going. I just don't want to get that telegram that I hope I do not get. Just promise me when all this is over, we'll build a life for ourselves like we always wanted. Because if you don't believe in us, how can I believe in us? And like I said, you are the only thing that keeps me going. There are days where I have doubts. Doubts of whether or not you'll return home to me, your father and your mother, your younger brother, Peter, or you're no longer with us and none of us know it. Also, speaking of Peter, he's doing all right. His confidence has grown. And he misses you almost as much as I do. He and I were looking at through all the photographs. And we were talking about how you two used to play in the yard, pretending you were in the military. Crazy. How far we come, isn't it? Here I have an old photograph of me by the sunset. And it reminded me of the life I had before the war. I miss all that. Every night, when I listen to the radio, I am hoping to hear the news that the war is finally over. Everyone will be cheering, filled with excitement, and most importantly, relief. Relief that it's all over. And there'll be no more gushing blood, no more wounds, no more deaths. But there's no news of the war over yet. I just know the war has to be over soon. It has to be. And then what it is, we'll make a life for ourselves like we've always wanted. All my love, Delilah.